True. Yeah, the truth is, FasterEFT is a toothbrush that sits on your counter. It will not work unless you use it. And that is the truth. When you understand FasterEFT, you understand it's what you're doing to yourself within yourself, then you can learn to make friends with yourself. Now, I've had individuals, they say, well, bipolar disorder, that's not a disorder, it's a talent, it's a skill, it's a survival mechanism. It's not genetics. You can learn it from your family. Virginia Satir, who is a family counselor, and as a matter of fact, Richard Bandler had modeled many great things from this woman because she created changes in people's lives with language. And she said she could take a person with bipolar disorder and put it in another family who had a different type of disorder. That person will learn the new disorder from the new cultural environment. So, working with different types of people, multiple personality disorder. Now, let me tell you, it's not a disorder, it's a talent. And this is what our brains naturally do. You are in this class and you're acting a different personality than you were if you were at home or you were in the kitchen or when you're driving. You shift from personality style to different personality style. When you take a child or a person who has severe emotional experiences, their brain has to categorize it, organize it in a way to survive. She said, I'm the only one in the family who's not in a mental institution. The rest of them are in mental institutions. And what she did is she figured out how to categorize the information and only access certain parts and behave certain ways in certain situations. This is a coping mechanism. And I've worked with many who were diagnosed multiple personality. We go and clean up each aspect, integrate it as one whole, the style ends. Now here's obsessive-compulsive disorder. My wife, she had that behavior. She couldn't throw things away. She was controlled by the clock and fears. And all I did is I broke it down. I worked with a lot of people who are diagnosed obsessive-compulsive disorder. And so, what drives the behavior of OCD is wanting to be safe. It wants wanting to be safe and get some kind of control. That's why they controlled whatever it is that they were controlling. Paranoid schizophrenia, that's a good one. I really learned that one from a girlfriend, how she did it. And I'm not being funny, I'm very serious. I mean, she was diagnosed that way. She didn't, it's interesting when you date people, they don't tell you all the good stuff until later.
I have a sister who's multiple personalities, post-traumatic stress disorder, and is strongly identified with that. And she has a husband who is also an addict, so they're in this dynamic of
perfect
breaking
relationship.
Up. Yep. But my question is, working with this, what's been your experience of when you've got a couple and one person is labelled and the other one's, with their own baggage and beliefs? How do they usually stay together?
We don't know.
Yeah.
It's almost like with your relationships. If you change yourself, will it stay together or change? It depends on what's important for the two of you.
For the two.
Yeah.
Yep.
We can't guarantee anything.
No.
I mean, it depends on the situation and the relationship. Because I will tell you this, you got two people who've been married 10, 20, 30 years and they decide to divorce, is that a failure? Only if failures are involved with it. Because, they had a relationship and they experienced this. So, paranoid schizophrenia, I know how it works. I know the mechanics of it. You all have it. You all do it. Not as good as experts, okay? Now, what is it? This is a typical model of paranoid schizophrenia. First of all, to a paranoid schizophrenia, just like yourself, they believe what's in their head is true. All right? They believe what's in their head is true. They'll create a story within their mind, and they go back and they go into the trance of it and feel it as if it's true. And they act from it. All right? And you can now I can see it on their face, and I see it on yours occasionally. You get the numb and dumb look, and you're in your head, you're in your trance. All right? Now, this is a typical low-level paranoid schizophrenia program. It's called worry sometimes. Now, this is what it is. Let's say, for example, most of you are women, so let's say you're married, or in a relationship, and you've had probably somebody cheat on you in the past, and maybe a little abuse. Just a little, okay? Like you're a typical woman or male. All right, so now here it is. You're dating this guy or married to this guy, and he's been talking about this new girl at work. And he's really talking about how smart she is, how good she is, and she's such a big help to the team. And then all of a sudden, he's late for work, right from work. And you try to call. There's no answer. Then you may go inside your head, maybe he's having sex with her in the closet. And you start playing the scenario inside your head. You actually start seeing them have sex in your mind. And then they're not home, you're calling, and then you see on the news that there's a car wreck on the highway in which he comes. Then you say, well, maybe they were both killed together on the highway, having sex while he's trying to drive. And she sees a dead body, the arm sticking out, and blood everywhere. And now there's going to be a big write-up in the newspaper about he's cheating on his wife, and everybody, all her family knows. All right? So, by the way, and then the doorbell rings, and he opens the door, and he's got flowers for her because he lost his keys and his phone. And she kills him. No, but can you see that this is a typical paranoid schizophrenia behavior? It's low level because that's what they do inside their head. They can't tell the difference if it's real or not real. And by the way, you've been doing this all week, haven't you, with your memories? That's what paranoid schizophrenia people do. Now, by the way, the ones that I've worked with, usually who create these internal worlds are usually have been abused, sexually abused, physically abused at a very, very early age. Very, very early age. So then they create an alternative world inside their head. Not all cases. Some of you just do it because you're just talented. Okay? Now, these are all different types of disorders. By the way, these disorders are recognized, noticed, and categorized by people who are experts at noticing behavioral patterns. Okay? So, but we do not treat anybody. I don't treat anybody unless it's Halloween, and it's usually candy. I may trick them by have the lights on and don't answer the door.
I was just wondering, that's what I do, I work with people with schizophrenia and that sort of thing. Do you find that afterwards, that the voices that they're hearing, do they still hear those voices, those mostly critical
Well, you
voices?
still hear your voices.
Yes, but these are actually auditory in their head.
And yours aren't?
They're not as such in the sense that they have done tests on people with that, and it's lighting up in their hearing, and it's not the critical.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
you do the same thing.
Yeah. It's not loud in my head like it is with people that are shouting.
How would you know?
Because I know that.
How many of you actually have noises in your head? Actually talk to yourself and hear your parents' voices. I'm laying in bed at my home. The doorbell rings and I wake up and I go, what? I don't even have a doorbell.
Are they parts of their voices though?
It was a sound. It was a real sound. And I'm thinking, all right, so then my phone keeps going off and I'm laying it sleeping. I'm thinking, oh, it's just my mind just playing a trick on me.
These are people who are actually, from the moment they get up in the morning, someone is telling them what to do.
It is true. It is true. It's not that it's not true.
So do they decrease, do you know?
If you go in and change the driving force, it can.
Okay.
It can. Just like your voices in your head and just like your pictures in your head. They're not any different. So here's the key when you deal with individuals, like we do with people that come and see it. Well, not yet. When they come and see me, I step into their world. Anyway, the point that I want to make with this entire story is this. When you step into somebody's world, it's real. When they see their past, when they see whatever it is that happens, it's real to them. And in order for us to make an adjustment for individuals, we step into the world and we make changes. It's the same thing for every person. Now, here's the deal. If you're out here making money, I will guarantee you there's not much money in working with paranoid schizophrenia people because they don't have money to come see you. Now, if you're out there and you want to make money, addicts, working with addicts, which are people who live on the street, there's not much money in that. Weight loss, yes. Some of these other things, yes. So what I did when I was in Oklahoma City, I volunteered my time. I went downtown Oklahoma City, volunteered to work on homeless people. If somebody said they had a disorder, I'd say I'll do it for free because I wanted to figure out what you're doing inside your head.
Well, I found why to set